piracy is one form of illegal activity that you need to be concerned with. Security is another form, and Adobe's been in the news recently because of the brouhaha over Google's stance against the Chinese government, their announcement that they've been hacked. Adobe also has been involved. Rather than explain how, would you explain how?
Well, the reality that we have today is that with networks, cybersecurity is, as you point out, a more strategic consideration for companies. And for Adobe, it impacts us in two ways. The first is all of our intellectual property, our software, is behind our firewall. So protecting our network is of paramount importance to us. The second is, given that we have two of the most widely used pieces of software, Flash Player and the Adobe Reader, making sure that those are secure pieces of software is also important to us.
Right. Now, I saw one estimate that Acrobat alone is on 95% of the world's computers. So the fear is that if someone trying to do wrong can get their malicious code onto my copy of Acrobat, I have a problem on my hands and you have a problem on your hands.
Well, what most people who are trying to exploit software vulnerabilities do is they try and attack pieces of software that have ubiquitous access, because then you theoretically have access to more computers. So specifically to answer your question, what we did say last week was that our network was attacked. And we are still completing the investigation, but these attacks nowadays come from many sources, and it's a way of life for all companies.
Google, without saying so directly, strongly implied for anybody paying attention that it was the Chinese government specifically that had attacked their network. Do you believe it was also the Chinese government that has attacked your network?
As I said, attacks are coming from many places right now, and we're completing our investigation. At this point, we are not confident of where our attack came from.
McAfee, your neighbor in Silicon Valley, recently said they think that Adobe is now the #1 security target going forward. Is that a fair statement by them?
Well, since Reader is so ubiquitous.
Acrobat Reader.
Acrobat Reader
and
is so ubiquitous.
This is the free one that I have.
That's correct. We are taking security very, very seriously. And the way we typically respond to that is, the first thing we did was we took our entire Reader team and had them focus on hardening Reader and making sure that we were able to provide a really secure Reader. We also have a zero-day response team where when an attack is brought to our notice, we drop everything and we try and make sure that we can release a new version of Reader if there is a vulnerability by addressing that vulnerability. And we also have regular periodic updates, both for the general consumers as well as for the enterprises. So I think Adobe has done a really good job of taking this threat seriously and making sure that we respond in a proactive way to any security threat that might come our way.
I think one of the interesting things about this subject is that it involves Microsoft, which has been an arch nemesis of Adobe's over the years, remains an important competitor, remains an important partner, I assume. And so one of the fears is that hackers can go through Internet Explorer to get to the Reader. Can you talk about your relationship with Microsoft a little bit?
The relationship with Microsoft has been one, as you say, of co-opetition. We compete vigorously on many fronts, and we partner also extensively on many fronts. And I think it's just the nature of the beast right now, with a number of large companies. Apple is in the same boat. We compete with them in certain areas and we partner with them. The areas of cooperation with Microsoft are on mobile devices and making sure Flash is there, of making sure our applications, our creative applications and Acrobat really take advantage of new releases of Windows like Windows 7, and we compete with them in imaging and creative products. So,
how are they doing on their imaging and creative products?
Well, our DNA really is one of cross-platform, and when you think about the creative community loves the cross-platform nature of it. Mac is certainly the important platform, and as long as we continue to innovate, which is in our lifeblood, I think we'll do fine.